First of all, I'm not even doing that. But if I were there, I would stay in the car. I'm not leaving that car. I'm not getting out of that car. I'm sorry. I am not getting out. I'm not sleeping in any tent. I am staying in that car till the next morning. If you really get lost, you might use up all your supplies, and I mean all, and still not have found your way back to civilization. And then you're going back to your makers. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Dr. Zane, and on this channel I react to videos that interest me. So if that sounds like a thing, make sure you subscribe right now and give this video a big thumbs up, because I already know you're going to enjoy it. So as you can tell from the title of this video, I'm going to be reacting to the village, the Sahara village of the blind. Anyway, I'm super excited to watch this video because I haven't watched it yet, but the title made me super curious. So I was like, okay, it's one of those things I would love to share with you. So here we are. Let's get into it.
It was the will of God. It all started generations ago. One night, while she was sleeping, an entity appeared to her in a dream. It came from another world and told her that she would give birth to the most virtuous man, but without eyes. And from that moment, every descendant of hers would be born blind.
We just woke up here, in Nouakchott, the capital of Mauritania.
I was going
because
to say,
a great adventure.
sorry, I was going to say that the people I was seeing, they did look like Mauritanians, but I did not want to be. I did not want to be too forward. So, but yeah, they did look like they do look like Mauritanians. I won't say it's sad, but then the thing about people who are in conditions like that is that they might not see it as sad. They might not see themselves as handicapped. They might not see themselves as in need of extra help or anything. And they usually have a lot of dignity. So I don't want to impose my own feelings on them before I even watch the video. But that's just like, I cannot imagine.
Adventure is about to begin.
1 in 2 people.
Very big, very long. 1,000 kilometers through the Sahel Desert. Crossing it all to go to the most remote, least touristic point of all Mauritania, which is the least touristic country in the world. So imagine how little this place is visited. Nouakchott is the capital of Mauritania, originally built as a temporary camp to host a few thousand people. However, in the 70s, it experienced a population boom due to drought and increasing desertification, which forced many people to abandon their villages. Today it has 1.2 million citizens, and the city has become a crossroads of cultures, with nomadic Maori, Wolof, fishermen, and populations from the inner regions of the country.
Okay.
We don't want Americans, they are Nazis.
Okay, Italians. It seems that Americans here are not very well regarded.
Wow.
Our great adventure starts right from here. And this time, the mission is to discover whether the story of the blind people of Dalikumbe is legend or truth. We are going to the village of Dalikumbe, which is a unique community in the world. 1 in 2 people is blind. And there is a mystery behind their condition, because it's not known if it's due to the water, it's not known if it's a matter of genetics. But there's one certain. They have managed to create stability, a union among all the population, both sighted and not. And we want to understand what happiness is for them. We stopped at a typical market in Nouakchott to take a lot of water, a lot of food for the whole trip, because once out of the city, there will be nowhere else to resupply. So now, we will delve into this typical market. There's a constant. When eating in the desert, everything contains sand. So the brioche isn't bad, but it's seasoned with a bit of Sahara desert sand. We happened to by chance upon the largest camel market in all of Mauritania. Here, the best camels from all over the country are gathered, coming from various tribes. How can you see that a camel is goose?
Come with me, I have a beautiful one. This is a wonderful specimen because it's young, has a harmonious shape, and the right amount of fat.
How much does it cost?
This one costs $1,000. It could be more or less than this. It all depends on how good you are at bargaining.
Bargaining.
On this long journey, we are accompanied by...
If you're in Africa, you need to know how to bargain. You need to know how to bargain. Except if you're going to limit your shopping to like supermarket stores and like that. But if you're going to go into the market and you're going to go deal with individual traders, etc., you need to know how to bargain, okay? Because when they tell you a price, that's not the price they expect to sell it at. That's the price they expect you to begin bargaining with them at before they settle on the actual price with you, depending again on how good you are at bargaining. So yeah, that's
a Bedouin of few words but
just
a tireless driver,
a staple,
and by our now inseparable travel companion, Mo, who, besides becoming a dear friend, is our point of reference in a country that can suddenly become treacherous.
So it's on the border of Mali. No internet, not even anything that you can imagine there. So the blind people, they cannot see, but they can feel something we cannot feel. So they can find the water, the source of water under the ground, something like this.
We've arrived. That's all for today. We will camp here. It's a clearing, a dirt road, and I think we've done enough for today. We've driven for at least...
I'm sorry, if they're actually camping at on a dirt road in the desert, I'm sorry. With all the stuff I've heard about deserts, it is very scary to me. Just the idea that I might be in the desert is really scary, because the desert is a treacherous place. If I were there, first of all, I'm not even doing that, but if I were there, I would stay in the car. I'm not leaving that car. I'm not getting out of that car. I'm sorry. I am not getting out. I'm not sleeping in any tent. I am staying in that car till the next morning. Ransom can come, the cold alone. I don't play with stuff like that, okay? So just kudos to the people who do stuff like that. I do not.
These 10 hours. And have made more progress than we expected. Tomorrow, another 10 hours at least await us. We should arrive in the afternoon at the village of Dalikumbe. Hope it goes well. Hope they accept us. Now let's go eat. There are noises all around us that sound like people screaming, but I think
they're probably animals, okay, who are really...
What are the animals
going to be happy to eat you if they find you?
You hear? All the noises, all the...
people.
Oh, okay. Alright, my bad.
Okay, never mind. They're people.
They're people, alright.
So I thought they were wild animals of the desert.
Yo, if I were the one, I would
shouting.
Okay.
Meanwhile, we've already lit a fire. Tonight we will cook here.
Again, this is super cool,
First
but
night,
I do not play with stuff like this.
And
Camping
I
in
have
the
a
desert,
proud
no.
tent companion with me. Our travel companions sleep in another tent. What will keep me awake? With curiosity about how tomorrow will go is that we don't know if this community will welcome us or reject us, because we couldn't contact them beforehand. The road is still long. So this morning, we have breakfast on the go with typical Mauritanian bread. Oh, what is the name of the bread?
Buru.
Buru. With the buru. And watch out.
Choco boss.
The guys are spoiling me. It will be difficult to eat with these flights. But today we eat buru. And they're laughing and chocobos.
Only bed.
We just picked up a random guy who should lead us to the village because nobody knows where it is. It's so remote that our guys don't know where it is. And we're trying to figure out in every village we stop at where it is. The directions, nobody knows except this gentleman. Let's see if we can make it.
And this is another fear I have of the desert, getting lost. If you get lost in the desert, it's almost certainly a death sentence, okay? That is just, that fear has been ingrained in me so much that I don't know, but I mean, I should be able to get past it, but I don't know if I want to get past it, if you know what I mean. Getting lost in the desert, even though you have a car and you've got like extra gallons of petrol, if you get lost, if you really get lost, you might use up all your supplies, and I mean all, and still not have found your way back to civilization, and then you're going back to your maker. So I do not even play with stuff like this. Again, shout out to them, please.
Now we're we're taking a road that doesn't even have a path. There's no marked way. And only this gentleman seems to know where he's going, because we're moving through the trees and we're struggling to find it. But what surprises me the most is the isolation of this village. Not only are most of them visually impaired, but they are isolated by hundreds of kilometers from civilization. There's nothing and no one around them.
So this is Dalikumbe?
We've arrived.
And finally.
Probably the most isolated place we've ever been to. Not even the Warani were this far.
Wow.
Here we are. Now everything's in the hands of Bo, who has gone to talk with an elder of the village area where the blind live. So he's explaining who we are, what we need to do, and soon we will have an answer. We are led by the village elder who seems to really see because he moves swiftly. But he told us to go a bit slower behind him, because the people of this village actually have never welcomed a tourist, a Westerner. No one passes by here, and so probably many of them have never seen a Westerner, so they might even get scared.
Welcome. How are you? I hope you're well.
Thank you.
They don't speak our language.
Yes, I know. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Right now, we are not all here in the village. You must know we are a big family.
How come is there this uniqueness in your village?
It was the will of God. It all started 10 generations ago. The story begins with a mother who was pregnant with the predestined. One night, while she was sleeping, an entity appeared to her in a dream. It came from another world and told her that she would give birth to the most virtuous man, but without eyes. And from that moment, every descendant of hers would be born blind. And thank God this prophecy continues to this day. Even my father was blind. His name was Sheikh Mohammed Mahmoud. Here he is a legend. He was the one who found all the water sources in Mauritania.
What is their role in this community?
My purpose is to teach the Quran. I learned it as a child, and now I teach it to our children. I am also the imam of the mosque in this village. I pray with my community. This is the purpose God has given me. I can't do anything else.
How did he learn Quran if he cannot read?
It took a long time. I went to the teacher who taught the Quran to normal children. I was welcomed as if I could see like everyone else. But for me, he wrote the verses of the Quran and then read and reread them endlessly until I was able to repeat them by memory. When I had memorized every word, we could move on. And every day of my life was like this until I was able to memorize the entire Quran perfectly.
Are they totally blind or they can see something? They can see lights, shades?
We can only sense if something is nearby, but we are not able to see it exactly. It's not something we are able to describe. Allah has given us enough light to walk and to appreciate life as it was given to us.
A question to everyone. What is the thing that they wish they could see? They could see the color, they could see the shape. Is there something that they really desire to see?
If I could, I would like to see my house from afar as I return from a long journey, and I would very much like to discover the nuances of the colors of autumn landscapes.
I would like to be able to see the letters of the Quran and be able to write them.
Me too. Like him, I would like to be able to read books and learn many new things. I would like to read different types of books.
The women, unfortunately, are a bit more separated in this nice chat, because clearly the word always belongs to the patriarch.
It's like I said, they seem at peace with their condition, and just like I said, many times people like this always find it's fine, and they regard themselves as normal. And I mean, the fact that you would even go to a teacher who teaches children who are not blind like you means that you do not see yourself as handicapped or, you know, somewhat disadvantaged compared to the other children who can read. I mean, obviously they have to take certain extra steps and extra measures when dealing with you, but basically they do not see themselves as handicapped. And I think that that mindset alone gives them a lot of power and dignity and just self-assuredness. So this is like I said, we might see that and say, well, poor people, they cannot see da. And obviously it is a privilege to be able to see, but many times they don't see themselves as poor or disadvantaged or handicapped. But the other thing I wanted to mention is that it's so intriguing how their wishes are so simple, like, and then it makes you feel so grateful for just the gift of sight, the fact that we can pick up any book. Yeah, obviously that's if you have your sight, like you can pick up any book and just read it whenever you want to, especially for people like us who like to read, like who love to read, or that you can watch things on the internet, or that you can be coming from a journey, short or long, and be able to see your house in the distance and up close. I mean, just those things, simple things like that, or seeing landscapes, whether autumn landscapes or whatever kind of landscapes you have around you, just watching the water, seeing a field of greens, seeing the sky, seeing anything, mountains in the distance. It's just, these are beautiful things that we do not even, sometimes we pay attention to them, but many times we do not, like we pay attention, I'll speak for myself. If I see things like that, I do pay attention to them and I do appreciate their beauty, but I do not think of the fact, or I seldom think of the fact that I should be grateful for being able to even see them in the first place, because there are some people who cannot see them, who have never been able to see them, and who wish that they would be able to see stuff like that. So in addition to being grateful for the ability to have things and to see things and to, you know, appreciate things and to learn things, which also stuff like this also reminds us to be grateful for the ability to even perceive those things with our sights, because we did not, just like they did not do anything to deserve their lack of eyesight, we who have our eyesight did not really do anything to deserve our eyesight.
Next to me, and also I think that the sun is giving them a lot of trouble because they are always covered with a veil. But let's try to involve them a bit more now. Let's see what they say. Who helped them to take care of themselves
During the day.
Yeah, during the day.
We have our mother at home who cooks, and sometimes we can help her.
The guy is hearing the how can he move, like does he?
Here, we can move around without problems because our feet know the way by heart.
Wow.
We have no problems walking within the village. He can go to the mosque, fetch water, and return by himself. But he couldn't move outside the village without someone guiding him.
How do they leave their condition? Is it a luck for them or a gift?
Before you, you have a happy man at peace with what life has given and gives him every day.
Happy and at
I am
peace.
grateful for everything God has granted me.
How many blind people there are in the village?
Blind always has been blind, and grateful and happy, and yet some people have what he does not have, the eyesight, and they have a lot more than many people do not have, materially speaking, and yet miserable. It's interesting, isn't it? That's the irony of life.
Between 30 and 40. Definitely more than 30. There are blind children, women, and also men older than me.
He actually doesn't need me to accompany him. In fact, he is taking me to his home because he wants to show me where he lives and how he lives in semi-total autonomy. Because he explained to me that in his daily life he knows how to do everything. Obviously without needing sight.
Without needing sight.
But there are other family members who can see and therefore help them,
Okay.
help him, and help his children and his sisters.
Okay, so what I'm getting here is that in a family, it's not every single member of the family that cannot see. There are select members of the family that have this condition, and they come from that woman's line. This man is saying that he has family members that can see and therefore help him, and the lady before was talking about how she has her mother at home who cooks, and sometimes they help her, which means that they're the ones who are blind, but their mother is, has her sight. So yeah, that means some of them are blind and some of them are not.
Here under this tent, Muhammad teaches the Quran to the whole village.
I say this because initially, when they said the village of the blindness, of the sightless people, I thought, even though they said not all of them in the village were blind, I had it in my head that whole families were blind, like the entire families would be blind, and then some families were not blind at all, and those were the normal people. But with the way it is now, it means there are people in each family. Well, maybe not all families, but the families are kind of mixed, blind people and non-blind people.
There are tablets on which the children write everything of the Quran every day. They are wooden tablets, and there he teaches all the children the verses of the Quran.
The oldest laptop that's untouchable. This is something untouchable because I'm Muslim. I can touch, I can read, I can write on this.
But why on these and not on papers?
No, because we use in Mauritania. We used to do this to write on this stuff like this. So paper, the ghost can arrive and eat it. But this one is protected.
That's true.
What would make me happy is managing to find the resources to fulfill the dream of a lifetime.
Which is
To help my poor community. To teach these boys and girls
such
gratitude
simple wishes.
for what life has given them.
Such simple wishes, such simple dreams. Like,
I have learned to be happy, and now I want to share it. Reading the Quran is the source of my happiness, especially when I teach it to the children, so that they can be inspired by the words of God. This is my only purpose in life.
and when you find your purpose, you find your
In
happiness.
such a hostile environment, where light shapes and marks the time, the life of these people seems to me a huge oxymoron. They defy the heat without even seeing the sun and the wind, without being able to observe the relentless movements of the dunes. And yet, spending the day here in the village of Dalikumbe, I understood that for them, this is a place of freedom, the only one they truly know, and where they can move safely in the illusion of a normal life using their hearts. But above all their faith as a compass, their story hidden in the desert instead becomes a metaphor for existence. A life that navigates through shadows, but where inner strength can always overcome the lack of light.
That's just great. I don't want to say it's sad. It's not sad. It is not, because those people are not sad people. They are not victims. They are not poor people. They are not disadvantaged. They are not. They have a lot of dignity, and they seem very self-sufficient, and they seem really happy, and they have their purpose, and they have freedom, like the guy said. Extremely important. They have freedom, and they are living their lives, and they are not bound by the shackles of society that binds many of us today, where we are. If we don't get, if you don't have a phone and a computer, and you don't have proper internet connection, and of course electricity has to be there, then you're basically living half a life. In fact, it feels as if your life is about to come to an end. You don't have these things. You don't have, for many people, the latest car, the latest wristwatch, the latest pair of shoes, the latest outfit. Just, you can't attend the latest parties. You cannot dance the latest dance moves or dance routines. You cannot. It's a lot, and we would say that we enjoy these things, even though I'm almost bashing them. I'm not really bashing them. It's just they are shackles, and they do bind us, especially if you're really attached to them. And yes, we would say we enjoy these things, and we do enjoy them. But for these people, they enjoy their lives, and they enjoy their freedom, and so no, I don't think anybody should look at them as poor or disadvantaged or handicapped or disabled. No. And a shout out to this guy for actually going to this kind of place, despite the difficulties involved in actually getting there, that I was able to find them out and just being able to speak to them and tell their story. It's a huge thing, and it's just super amazing and it's definitely praiseworthy. There are lots of people, lots of different kinds of people, different kinds of tribes in different kinds of places in the world that nobody ever talks about and that we do not even know exist. I mean, I'm an African and I did not even know that there was such a thing as a blind community in some village in Mauritania. And we've heard about Mauritania a lot, and we only hear this other kinds of stuff, which are good. Of course, they're good, but we do not, like, nobody has ever mentioned something like this to me before, like before seeing this video. So yeah, shout out to them once again. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video with me till the very end, if in fact you are still watching. If you've not subscribed, please make sure you subscribe right now and give this video a big thumbs up, and it means so much to me. And shout out to all of you who have already subscribed and who have been watching my videos and leaving comments and likes and all of that. Truly appreciate it. You guys are the best. Thank you once again, and I will see you next time.